Leeds will be disappointed they didn't take advantage of there. Going into the game, the form team out of the two is Brentford, not Leeds United.
Yeah, and you would have thought with the attacking force that they've got, they would have put Leeds under a lot more pressure. But Leeds dominated possession. I think they had about 67%. Dominated the whole game, but it was two teams devoid of any real inspiration. Didn't want to really go for the win. They cancelled each other out. It was a classic windy night. Pitch wasn't in the best condition, mistakes all around. It wasn't a classic by any stretch of the imagination. And you say, Brentford were there attacking free. I thought they could have given Leeds more problems, and they just didn't tonight.
Were you surprised that Brentford didn't take the game to them more? Bear in mind, the form they're in, after their win over Middlesbrough at the weekend, they're at home as well. And their manager said as well, I'll tell you now, Griffin Park is the last place that Leeds United will want to come to. Not in an arrogant way, but he was full of confidence. And they just...
No, I agree with you. They didn't. Whether they were showing them too much respect, they just didn't. From what I've seen of Brentford and that front three, that they didn't even gel tonight, really.
And usually that front three are right at it near BMW, as you say. They're right at it. They're usually pressing Watkins through the middle, Benrahma and Buemo. But to be fair, there's been a couple of times this season when I've seen them live that, again, they haven't actually fired. At Sheffield Wednesday away, they weren't at it. Huddersfield away, again, they drew a blank. So those two games, they drew a blank. Obviously, they got the one goal tonight, which was a mistake. So every now and again, they're not at it, but they will bounce back. They do create chances. But yeah, I'd have thought with those, the way Leeds play, those front three would have been right at them, pressing and forcing a few mistakes. So a draw in the end, I don't think is great for either side, and Fulham West Brom will be the happiest of that.
Well, as we said, obviously, Leeds beaten at the weekend, in the end, comfortably by Forest, although contributed to their downfall with both goals as well. But how much do you think... I mean, Bielsa has said, look, this is not the same as last year. The players are training the same. We're getting the opportunities. We've got possession. It's just what's happening with the results at the moment. How much do you think what happened last season, how they tailed off, will be in these Leeds players' minds?
I think it has to be in there a bit. It has to be. You can think of seasons, you know, I think me and Phil were talking about it off air, weren't we, about when I was at Wolves and we lost out to West Brom, and the next year we ended up going through the playoffs, but we used that hurt and that missing out to really drive us on. Leeds have been in a fantastic position. They were last season. There'd be a good few...
They were in December. It looked like West Brom and Leeds were home and home.
And West Brom had a wobble as well, but it looks like West Brom have regrouped. I think West Brom have had a stronger window, bringing in Grzycki, I think even like Peltier, I think some good signings there. For Leeds, I don't think Augustine's... they brought him in, but they've got to get him up to speed. Yeah. He's not playing yet. But that there, I think the fact that Leeds can drop out of it will definitely be on their minds, and it's certainly on the fans' minds. And the other fans are singing it, so they will sing it, and Bielsa has to get them back on track.
Well, there was a 10-point gap mid-December, and now they're just...
They could be out the automatic spots tomorrow night.
Incredible. Yeah. So I totally agree with Matt. I think that it will be... players are very precious. They will be dwelling on what happened last season, and I'm sure the manager will be... There'll be some subliminal message he'll be saying, don't think about it, carry on. But he's sowing the seed.
I mean, part of you guys, you've got to have the mental armoury, but when the opposition fans are singing, Leeds are going to blow it again, that's got to be difficult to ignore.
It does, and when you concede early goals, it's hard, it's difficult, and let's be honest, Ellen Road is a fantastic place to play, but when you go there as an opposition player, you raise it because it's a full house. The atmosphere is there. It's a great game. You want to go there and prove yourself. They've got some fantastic players. They spent some money, so you want to go there and do it. The opposition fans definitely, as I say, Sheffield Wednesday fans. I was there at the game. They were loving it, absolutely loving it, and they want it to happen because of the history and everything else at Leeds. So they have to deal with it. I think maybe the players, Bielsa can say what he wants and have the meetings, but sometimes the players have to get together and sit down and go, hey, this is a fantastic opportunity. We're so close to getting to the Premier League. Let's give everything, training, how we live off the pitch and all that. Because when you go to the Premier League, it's awesome. There's a lot of players in that Leeds team who haven't been there, so it would be life-changing for them, but they're going to be nervous.
Well, looking at it, they've got the easier run in as well. After the Bristol City game, they only play one team in the current playoff places in the last 13 games of the season. So that might go in their favour. Fulham have got a harder run in. Brentford have got harder run-ins, so that might balance it out in time.
And it can work one way or the other. But if you're playing teams that are right down there, who's scrapping for, against relegation, that can be difficult. Sometimes you want to play other teams that are around you because you think I can take points off them. So it can work all ways. But whatever it is, Leeds needs to get back to winning ways, scoring goals, and get the momentum again.
Spare a thought for the Nottingham Forest manager tonight, Sabri Ramoshi. He said ahead of tonight's game, he said, we got beat by Birmingham and we were poor. And we beat Leeds United at the weekend, who are a terrific team. He said, this league is crazy. It's crazy. And that's before they've lost to Charlton tonight.
And made a load of changes. Yeah. So I don't spare a thought for him. I think that
Do you lay that defeat at his door?
I think when you look at the team, as you say, you're on a high. You've beaten Leeds United. You're feeling great. City ground was rocking. You're buzzing as players. You're doing all that. And I think he's done a really, really good job since he's come in. And he's adapted to the Championship well. But that will be the thing. You just said there, the Championship's crazy. So you can't underestimate Charlton. You know Lee Bowyer's team are going to be right up for it. Resting the likes of Cash, Amiobi, if they were rested. Cash was on the bench. I don't think Amiobi was involved at all. So you can't be thinking already about the game at the weekend against Forest. You had to deal with that.
What's in front of you,
massive blow. So that's why I think he shouldn't have made those changes. He's paid the price.
Has he done Lee Bowyer's team talk for him? With that team he's set out?
I think so. And obviously Charlton are scrapping for their lives, and we know what Lee Bowyer was like as a player. Tenacious. So he's trying to instill that in his players, and they've got the just rewards tonight. I think, I can't say Forest were disrespectful, but as Matt says, in the Championship, no game is a given.
I did slightly raise one eyebrow when you said, I think that, I think you said Leeds have got the easier running. Is there such an easy thing? Easy running in the Championship, Phil?
On paper, it's not. But as Matt alluded to, even the teams at the bottom, you're going to struggle. We've seen that tonight with the Charlton result. So, but just on paper, I think Leeds, if they can get their momentum again, those last 13 games are all winnable. And teams that historically go up have a run late on in the season, and it could be Leeds.
And that's the thing, that they've done put runs together before, so they know they're capable of it, and they should look at that as well and believe they can do it. Say, fantastic fan base, home and away. Those fans are unbelievable. I do so much of the Championship working for Sky, and those Leeds fans, they travel home and away. They'll get behind their team. They don't turn on them, but they need either momentum if they are going to go into the playoffs. But if they can put that run together, it's so tight at the top of the table, then they could maybe open up the gap again.
If you're West Brom or Fulham watching those results tonight, does that put an extra spring in your step? Does it make you think, we've got an opportunity here? Or does it say to you, hang on, that shows you just how tricky this can be. We could get done as well. We've got to be on our game tomorrow night.
Both.
Well, it's West Brom at Reading, aren't they?
Yeah, and that won't be easy.
Fulham, Millwall?
Away to Millwall.
Away to Millwall.
That's a tough one.
So Millwall under Gary Rowett, they're going to be right at them. You know that. So they've got to... And West Brom went there and matched the battle, and then the quality showed, and they won the game in difficult circumstances. As for West Brom, I think they have turned the corner again. I think, you speak to people, players, I see them around, live in the Midlands. I think they all got together and had a little chat, the players together, and said, hang on a minute, like I said a little bit with Leeds, they should do. And they seem to turned the corner, got back together, that fighting mentality. So definitely, I've been in that situation in squads, and if the team that you're arriving with win, it's a little bit of extra pressure. When they lose, you think, oh, brilliant, let's capitalise on this, give them that step. But at the same time, there can be no complacency, but it's great when it goes into your own hands, and especially for West Brom, it's in their own hands now.
How far off are we of being able to pick the two automatics? Or is that even a more ridiculous question even by my standards?
It's a fantastic league because you look at it and it's just so tight, and teams dropping points, form teams going on ridiculously bad runs.
Where would you rather be now? I mean, the obvious answer obviously is top, but do you like the idea of being tucked in? It's like a horse race.
Yeah.
Do you want to be tucked in just behind
on the inside?
Just on the rails?
Yeah.
Who are you liking the look of?
You've got to look at West Brom as like, because of the quality of the squad and the way he's playing and how they're galvanised, West Brom automatic for me. Fulham in great form. I think they've, unbeaten in the last 6 games. Brentford, as we've seen tonight, got quality if they can get their front three firing. Forest, lovely players.
Phil, I didn't ask you to name the whole table.
I'm just saying, you can't have the playoffs. Any one of those playoffs can take second spot.
I'm sticking with mine from the start of the season. I said West Brom automatic, and I said Fulham. And I took a lot of stick on social media from Leeds fans saying, especially when they were flying, he's still sticking with them. I believe Fulham with Mitrovic and their goals that they have in it. I think Rodak's a fantastic goalkeeper in what they've done. So I'm still going to stick with West Brom, Fulham second. Playoffs so hard to call, but I think because of the Brentford BMW, that front three on a two-leg thing, they could beat anyone, and then in with that momentum. So the playoffs is harder to call, but I'm going to stick with West Brom and Fulham as my automatics.
I'm going to throw in one for the playoffs that wasn't even on that graphic.
Go on.
Derby County.
Wow.
Going like a train at the moment.
A lot of cancellations at the moment.
Very good.
You can speak from experience.
You always get a late runner, and you always get somebody who drops like a stone. They're my late runner.
Watched them twice recently, I have. Watched them twice. So against Stoke City, 4-0, Wayne Rooney pulling the strings, got the goals. At 2-0, which way was it going to go? Stoke pushing again, but they went and killed off the game. So they looked really good defensively, scored the goals. I thought Rooney, the way he's dictating, the Wayne Rooney effect since he's gone in, absolutely unbelievable. And whether you think, I'm going to get against him and stop him playing, he's so intelligent. Hasn't maybe got the energy levels, but the quality, the way he's organising everyone, his range of passing, the way he breaks the lines of passes. Then I saw them away at Swansea, thinking, how's that going to go? Totally clinical. Hadn't been good on the road. 1-3-2. So the last couple of games, scored goals, showed the different bits that they need to. So they could have that momentum sneaking up. And then when they're in there, hitting it late, and with that experience of Rooney, and again, we talked about teams. Well, Leeds United lost out last season. They've got that in them. Well, a lot of that Derby County team had been to the playoff final, hadn't they? So they know what it's about as well, and maybe use that as motivation. So if they do get in, unbelievable job, and what a signing then of Wayne Rooney, but still maybe be a little bit too much for them, in my opinion.